faces. Hi, everybody. My name is Aaron Schey. It's so grateful to have you join me for another Habitat Now. We're celebrating something new. We're celebrating Glass Day. And what's Glass Day, you ask? Well, back in 1962, Harvey Littleton had one of the first glass classes. Many of you know this story back in Toledo, Ohio, and convinced people to actually do a glass class. And they actually tried blowing glass and they failed, and they had to find somebody named Harvey Littleon to teach them how to blow glass. It's a really great story, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, but if not, I'll give you a place to learn the whole story during this talk so you can watch a video about it, which is fantastic. So without further ado, I'm going to take over your screens, and if you feel like jumping in and talking about anything, feel free to join me. I'd love to have you all participate in this little event we have called the Habitat Zoom. So little housekeeping, I always like calling it housekeeping. Do these Zooms every weekend. We are planning on doing another one soon, talking about the upcoming glass tour. I guess they had to change boats. The boat they had lined up for the glass tour decided to get completely booked with one giant party, I believe. So they found another boat, moved everything over. So we're going to update everybody about the glass tour, probably in an upcoming Zoom, which is what we'll talk about in the next, or maybe when they get the information to me. The Habatat Glass52 event, it's coming up quick. We're basically like a month away now. It's amazing how time flies. It was just January 1st, like a minute ago, and it's already March. It's just nuts. But long story short is we're going to be having an incredible weekend planned. I've talked about this many, many times. And you're definitely invited to come see all the events, participate in all the events. We're looking forward to seeing you. Many artists will be there. This is an ad we did for the local newspaper to get people to come see the show on the actual opening day. On the right, it's going to be the VIP passes that Regina and Corey designed for the people who come to the show, so they make sure they know when they go places, everybody knows who they are and what they're doing there. So without further ado, we'll talk a little bit about the Glass Day event, and I'm grateful for you having joined me. So this is me and Harvey hanging out. We used to be best friends. Just kidding. I had some fun photoshopping this photo years ago, and I found it and put it in this email. But this is something we should be doing. We should be celebrating glass once a year, having its own holiday, celebrating when Harvey had the very first glass class back in 1962. Um, we should celebrate this because it was really the start of the foothold of some people call it the glass movement, but the glass being an art form in America. And from there, you can see how many people have come up and grown up caring and loving and participating in glass, and they study under each other, and they're all friends, and our community is so tightly knit. It's an amazing place to be part of, an amazing thing to experience. If you go to a gas conference, you see so many people and meet so many people that are like-minded, and everybody's amazing. They all have great outlooks. They love to share information, and they love to work together. So this is all started at one particular point in time was this glass class. So why not get together and talk and celebrate once a year what's going on? Giving Harvey a little credit, we have a piece of his in our upcoming auction scheduled for May. I think it's going to be the auction's usually May 2nd, I think, which is a Thursday. We just want to give a little peek at it. We just have this beautiful rocker that will be in that auction. Shout out to Harvey for what he did for our world and in the glass art world. This is my favorite photo. I used to see this on Bert's desk growing up when I'd visit him at work. It looks like there's I don't know everybody in this photo, but I know everybody's sitting down. Harvey Littleton on the left, Kaiwe Fujita, Erwin Eichen, and our friend David Hutchhausen. This must have been a fun night. I'm sure there were all kinds of stories that correlate with this image, but I don't know many of them because this time period was a wild time. I'm guessing this was probably the early 80s, I would guess, but who knows? It's a great photo. So going over some of the things that I love to share. You know, we have some amazing works in the gallery that we're talking about today that are available for purchase. And there's just so much talent when I walk around and I collect these photos and I put them in my computer and I see them every day, and I'm like, I really should be talking about some of these amazing pieces with everybody out there because I see them, but they don't. And why not go through I think there's about 30 photos, maybe 32 pieces that are just, amazing that they actually exist. This particular piece is by our friend Emily Brock, who has retired from creating, though she has a private collection in her studio that she's going to be slowly offering. And we wanted to put one of them out there just so people can see it. I love Emily's work. I used to see them in everybody's collection. I still kind of do. And these works, what's great about Emily is She works in every single technique in glass. She can do it. She can work hot, she can work cold, she can fuse, she can carve, she can paint, she can cut, she can grind, she can laminate, everything you can possibly imagine, she does. And she does it in her own Indian style. And what's interesting about her work too is her price range hasn't really changed over the decades. She's had some amazing pieces, and they're going to be some trickling out over time. Maybe you've seen them, maybe you have one in your collection, but big fan of her work. I know Corey received one for his bar mitzvah, I believe. It was like half his childhood home, half his adult home. My parents have a really nice diner I've experienced growing up in my house. And we've seen them come through the gallery, and I love exploring them. They're usually in kitchens in people's homes. I think Ferd and Kathy's are in their den. But I'm a big fan of Emily's work. The problem with this work, though, is shipping. Shipping has become more difficult post-pandemic, so work like this does need art handling. So it has to be taken into consideration for buying pricing, because if you want the work to get there safe, art handling is required. We have a few services we work with, and just something to consider, as you can't acquire and pick up the work yourself, or we can deliver it locally. Wilfred Gruten's, this is a stunning piece. I've never seen one quite like this. It's called Blueberry. We had this work in the Glass Coast weekend in Florida, and I think it weighs about 120 pounds, I believe. It's kind of a massive sculpture, but he really takes on the challenge. I mean, look at all those different lenses that have been laminated and painted together. And if you've seen his videos, we did a talk with him too, where they're all laminated, and he has like a wooden block that holds them all together, and he winds the block down, pushing them, and all the glue peels out the side. And it must be a real hard cleanup to get them to look so stunning and beautiful when he's done. But man, they really do. And if you know Wilfred, he talked at one of our Glass Coast weekends. He was a musician. He got into glass repair, where you would repair stained glasses, repair stained glass in his career. But he really found a foothold with these beautiful painted objects. Krista Israel is coming in for Glass 52. She's one of the speakers for our event. On the cutting edge of the glass world, you have to pay attention to where the topics are moving to in the future. And Crystal is a very active artist out of the Netherlands, and we're honored to be showing her. She's also a multiple winner in the Not Grandma's Glass NGG show, The Art of the Future. So we're going to be experiencing her and her work in person. We had 3 small pieces during our show in Florida, but I'm looking forward to seeing what else we're going to receive, and what she has to say during her talk. This piece actually sold. This is Ekin Atek and Joshua David's Kalamazoo-based artists that are really pushing their way into the glass art world. And they've done a lot of abstract things in the past, but they're starting to do a little more literal sculpting on their work. And every time we get a literal piece like this one, it sells immediately. So I think they're onto something with their careers. They've made some beautiful works. It always reminds me of it's one of my favorite pieces, the J. Musler Cityscape bowls, where it has the sides carved. But those were actually done with huge test tubes that Jay actually cut and carved down. These are actually blown and then carved, and they're just magical. Simple as that. Stephanie Trenchard, she will be at our show in May, and we'll have a collection of her work. But what's great about and exciting about her, she's having her first ever glass class. I just saw before this talk on Facebook, she just put out a post, which I'm trying to share, but of course it won't let me, that you're going to be coming. If you sign up for her class, I believe it's $300. You get this really amazing rondelle, which is a circular piece of glass with a lip, and you get to paint it with her types of paints and create a beautiful image that you can then take home. So something new for Glass 52. It's exciting to have Stephanie do this. Her and I were in dialogue for a long time trying to figure out what she can do to do this. She works with different kinds of paints, and this was like the perfect little plan. So she threw this one together and put it up on Facebook like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours ago. And I was able to grab it and throw it up here. So if you want to sign up for her class, we have only 10 slots available. So I would definitely jump on it. And all the proceeds of the class go to her. So please join us for Glass 52 and maybe take the class. But if you do have to be part of our VIP weekend to sign up, by the way, at least for now until we get closer. This is a beautiful work by Gugisberg Baldwin, who joined us in Sarasota down in Florida. I'm looking forward to seeing this work on display. Look at the scale and size of this thing. And my wife was just down here She actually brought me lunch, which I haven't touched. And she was saying, I love those colors, those bluish greens and the oranges really work well together. And I'm like, that's why the artists are the artists. They really know what they're doing. I have the talk that he gave, that Philip Baldwin gave in Sarasota. I recorded the whole thing on my phone, and Regina's working on mixing the recording of him and the slides together because it was a really powerful talk. One of the past presidents of AACG mentioned to me that it was probably the best talk he's ever heard, which is pretty exciting. I'm glad I have a copy of it, which we'll put out once we have a chance. Karen Morch is someone new for our international show. Abstract, colorful, impressive work, beautiful shapes and scale. So something I'm looking forward to seeing. They just arrived, I think yesterday. I had to bring them in, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in person. I think they'll have a real nice presence during the show as well. Martin Russell, someone who I love. We used to work with a lot, and then it kind of disappeared for a while, and finally we got back a hold of him, and he's sending some new work in for the show. And man, he really is a master of optical glass. This piece is just absolutely exquisite. I suspect this one will sell pretty fast. It's called Glacier, and he really nailed the coloring and the scale and the size and the design, and he's probably making the best work of his career. So many of our artists are. Many of you might have seen Leah Wingfield's new series, Destination Unknown. We were working with her on marketing this little collection. She put out 5 new pieces in her style that I think is very, very popular. These tall humanoid sculptures that are just in the moment or in the emotion. We did sell one of them, and I'm not sure we're going to be getting these for the show, but I wanted to share the word for these because they are available, and I'm excited about the work and seeing what she does and does next. I think the one that sold was the, if you've seen them all, it's a woman and a dog, but this is my second favorite piece. It's just a great work by Leah, and she's a longtime friend of the gallery, part of our family. Many of you know David Hutchison. I mentioned him earlier in the picture with Harvey Littleton, another artist making some of the best work of his career. This is a large scale sculpture, carved and polished and laminated. Um, Sometimes glass is not done hot, and this is an example of that. There's no heat. Take big pieces of optical glass and carve and carve and carve and polish. And David's been doing this for decades, and just a completely museum quality pieces. And I'm looking forward to seeing this one on display as well. So to back in with the artist like Krista Israel, this is an exciting collaborative work. So in the pipe world, many of you know or may not know, there's a whole collection of younger people who are excited about glass, but they make, well, and they make glass functional, that it's actually a smoking pipe. This giant machine gun is actually a smoking pipe. Whether you smoke out of it or not, it's up to you, but you can see on top how many people helped create this piece. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people who collaborated during some kind of event or meeting where they actually made this giant, it's called Art of War Aztec M60. And every artist has their little logo designed on it somewhere. Someone's skull, someone's the gun, someone's the leaves, someone's the engraving. And this piece was originally on display at the Flint Institute of Arts for their show, I think in June or maybe earlier last year. And we now have it at the gallery, and it's an exciting thing to have. It is an expensive piece because of how many people are involved, but this kind of shows too where people are creating in that world, which is a very important world to be part of and have our finger on the pulse of. Michael Janis will be at the International too. He's making some of the best work of his career as well. This is one of my favorite pieces. I have a commission of his. I commissioned my wife for her birthday years ago, and it incorporates these flower pieces. He has, I think he dabbles back in this. He's also making video pieces now, but this piece is just an impressive work and 3 panels that assemble together to create this wonderful, beautiful face. And I'm surprised it's still available because it's been around since 2015. But look at the scale of this thing. It's like 42 by 40. It's just a wonderful example of his work. We have a Tutsinski will be having the show as well. She has also been slowing down as of late. Her work is in quite demand, so we're honored to have this beautiful piece, goldish in color and 30. I think the size is wrong. This is about 30 inches tall, maybe 39 inches tall, or maybe it's 20. Yeah, maybe it's about 22. It's pretty big. But it is a a wonderful example of her work, and you can see her filet de verre style. It's a process she personally created of taking long strands of glass and then molding them in the kiln. And you can see her work in multicolors as well as solid colors. This is a true treasure. Someone new to us, Vlastislav Genek. We've sold the work in the past. Very fun optical colors mixing together, blue and yellow. We've had a couple pieces in the gallery, and this one just came in, I think, end of last year. And something that's new, something we're showing, something we're excited about, and hope we have a chance to see it in person and share it with you. This is somebody new for 2024. Simone Cristani, if I'm pronouncing that right, an Italian artist making in the Italian style. We also have Blown Away runner-up, or Blown Away, one of the runner-ups on the show, Ryan Thompson, coming to international as well, who also works in the Venetian style. He's local and was on the TV show and was highly recommended by Karen Mullenbeck Johnson. So we have some Venetian artwork on the display, which is two new artists, but something we were very impressed with and grateful to have for 2024. This, I don't know if this has arrived yet, but it's probably coming soon. Something that's also exciting that we just received from our friend Peter Bremers, a tall amber-like piece called Grand Staircase Escalante 2025, 38 inches tall. Usually you see his work in a lot of blues and greens and every now and then ambers as well, from reflecting his world travels. And this is just an incredible piece by Peter in a beautiful tone and color. Alex Bernstein, he is making some incredible pieces right now as well, playing around optical glass and carving and doing his Bernsteining style. For those that you don't know the story, Alex long ago was grinding metal near his father's work, and the metal flakes were flying in the air and landing on his father's work, and they were embedding on the actual glass, and they were so hot they were embedding into it. And his dad was mad, but long story short, he was able to create his own personal style of taking grinding metal and pushing it into glass, and it's his own Bernsteining style, and it's incorporated in a lot of his pieces. And these not mirrored, but these reflective works really take advantage of that. Berta, this is a masterwork by this Swedish artist. Something very fun, something very interesting, and I love this, the colors of the red and the blue and the faces and the visuals. His work is about the passage of time and your life achievements. And I had an opportunity to hear him speak at a gas conference years ago and at the Imagine Museum in my career. And he's a very entertaining speaker. If you ever get a chance to hear him speak or watch a video of it, I highly recommend it. This is one of my favorite pieces in the gallery, too. Mark Laputa, he's an upcoming, but he's been making artwork for a long time. He really enjoys cold working glass, which is kind of laborious. Most people do not enjoy that, but he does. Is very therapeutic from him. And we did a talk with him not too long ago. You should go watch it and learn about him and his process. But he's a rising star, and this piece, Soul of the Star, is one I think of 5 we have in the gallery. And I'm looking forward to seeing it out for the show. If it's out for the show, I think it's out for the show. Our friend Carmen Lozar, we only have one piece of her work. She's a lamp working artist. I have 2 of her pieces in my personal collection. Both of them were necklaces that I commissioned for my wife for our children's birth. And she's so busy, I can't get her to make the 3rd one. I have a 3rd kid, Carmen. Let's go. Let's make that 3rd one. But I love her work. It's very fun. This piece is called Squeeze. Just a simple piece of I think a female humanoid form coming out of a toothpaste. Very enjoyable, and I just love what she does. And we have our friend Steve Lynn will be sending some work in for the show. This is an older piece that we have in the gallery. It's up on display still. I'm really looking forward to seeing his new pieces as well. He's really worked hard. I think he worked about 8 months on the new piece coming in. Steve, is that what it's like?
Yep, 8 months on one piece. It's got 10,000 beads in it.
8,000, yeah, 8,000 months on
10,
one piece.
10,000.
10,000 beads in it. That's
Placed
gonna be
one at a
incredible.
time.
Yep, you and Laura Donifer should hang out. I don't think she does that high of a number though, which is kind of fun. So this piece is in honor of Ouija. We did a talk about this piece earlier in I think last year before the international, but an homage. Steve makes work an homage of people that impress him or have an effect on his life, and it's 53 inches tall by 59 inches wide, and I love the layers and the hidden messages, and every single person he's done a ton of research to come up with to make a beautiful vision in their honor. Thank you, Steve, for being here. Zora Palova, her and her husband Stefan Pala really push the medium in scale and size and just don't care about world conditions, what's going on, materials and power costs, because everything has gone up, as we all know. But they make such powerful museum quality pieces. I think all these pieces should be triple the cost by far for what they are and what they look like and what they mean, and just sheer substance. And we'll have some of their work in the show, I think, end up coming in May. Raven Sky River just gave an AACG talk yesterday. I don't know if it was open for the public or not. I don't remember if it was the open one or not, but beautiful works. There's a show now down in Florida of what they do and share him and his, I believe, his wife. But this is one of my favorite pieces to see too. This beautiful thrasher shark. It's so amazing what he can do and create. I've seen his turtles, I've seen his lizards, I've seen his, my favorite one. I remember a long time ago we were at Sofa Chicago and we had a clam and it wasn't out, and I brought it out to show a client and she bought it immediately. And it's just to show, like, you really get to appreciate the artists, who they are and what they make and why. And he was at our last show doing a demonstration. It was just amazing to see what he can do. Jen Blazina is making these wonderful purses again. This one's called Let's Go Party. There's a name for these purses. I can't remember what it's called. It's a high fashion name. Maybe someone can help me. But they are just real fun. They mount to the wall. They have such a great presence. Oh, there's Jen right there. Why don't you tell me
Hi,
what
how
kind of
are you?
good, what kind of purse is this? Remind me of the name of it.
It's a Birkin bag.
A Birkin. I knew it.
Yeah. Oops.
Thank you. You disappeared, but it's good
Yeah,
enough.
sorry. I'm on my cousin's computer in Germany.
Yes, right. I heard you were on vacation in Germany. So
Yeah,
we put a picture of this in the local newspaper here, the downtown newspaper, talking about people, inviting people to our event. And it's great to have this piece in the show. And we're looking forward to seeing what else you make, Jen. Thanks for being here.
thank you.
Um, Peter Hora too, other artist making some wonderful giant pieces, 22 inches by 22 inches, probably by about 10. Such incredible talent. I've seen some of his new work too. He's working with his son, I believe, right now, and he's doing some blown things with some objects. So he's still being creative today, and this work just a stunner. Something new you never seen before. Our friend Lucy Lyons is dabbling in bronze again, and she's going to have 4 or 5 pieces that will be at our exhibition in May. And this is the first one you get to see as a VIP preview here. I'm looking forward to seeing these pieces. They're about medium scale, which is our best selling size for Lucy's work, and they incorporate glass and bronze. And this is kind of exciting to see them actually uh, be made and come to the gallery. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole display very soon. Jan Exnar, an artist from the Czech Republic. I want to work with more, but there's no real work out there. And we have a few pieces that I've seen in the gallery for years, and I've just been in love with his work. If you've been to Kathy and Ferd's house, they have a large sculpture, a big giant blue one, I believe, in their house that they just love. And it's great to have some of these artists that are hard to acquire now available for sale in the gallery. And it's just a fantastic work of glass and technique, and it kind of has that essence of being lost in time, but all the edges have been worked and treated to make it look like a relic. So I hope you're hungry. um Eriko Kobayashi, we have some of her work in our show. We saw her work during the gas conference and have been in touch, and we're just impressed. This entire Samora is all glass. There's a bowl of pasta we have, and if you have been seeing some of our marketing, there's going to be some gummy bears as well. Smaller scale, but man, they are very fun. I mean, it's totally different than what John Miller is doing with fast food glass. These are kind of treats, and she's really spent the time to create something very innovative and fun and wonderful. And I believe the size is probably wrong on that. It's probably like maybe about with the plate, maybe a little bit bigger, but it could be very tiny. But I think it's made to make you feel like it's real size, so it looks a little small to me. Baltazar Locassi. So Laszlo Locassi's son, who has been working with Laszlo for decades, has made some of his own work for the first time. And we had 2 pieces down in Sarasota, and both sold immediately during the show. And I thought what a great start to your career, my friend. And I'm really happy that he was able to come down and see everybody. He's younger, he's really talented, and his career is only going to go up from here. And this is one of his pieces that's coming in. I think he's sending one or two more. And I'm hoping we'll have work by his father as well, because it's been a while since we've had Laszlo's pieces in our gallery. Carrie side will be sending some work in. I just pulled in a couple pieces from our inventory that I thought were very fun. These are two different pieces, but when you walk around the pieces, they change and they move because they're reflective on aluminum. And it's fun to incorporate things beyond glass in our gallery, but these kind of have the essence of it. And we've done really well with the work, and we're real excited to have her in the show. And when you see these, you can't just walk away. They really draw you in. And what I like about them too is they're very light to install, and they hang on your wall, and they just really dominate your space. Right, Carrie? You're muted. Oh, there you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you so much for including these. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And yes, that's right. You got to walk around them to get the gist of it, because the dimensionality really is key to my work.
Right. And that the front of it is like a diffused piece of plexi that slowly takes away your clean vision. So you kind of have an idea what's there, but it really adds to the whole presence because it's out of this world.
Yes, and I will also say I'm just so inspired by glass. I always have been. I went to RISD with all these incredible glass people, and it just seeped in. So there you go.
Well,
Trying to create a new world.
It's right. Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right. Our friend Michael Behrens is going to be at the show. He's coming in, I believe, again. He was at our show in Sarasota, and he makes such a wonderful work inspired by his underwater travels and scuba diving. And he works on large scale, and every piece is just magical. And they really draw people's attention and breath away when they see him in the show, because they look like they were created by eons of different levels of the crust of the earth holding and pushing together. And instead of creating a diamond, out pops a Michael Behrens' work. And we're honored to have him in the show. Longtime family member of Habatat, Lena Pietro. We have a couple very impressive works by the artist in the exhibition. Make sure you don't miss out and see them, because they are simply, completely in Leno's style. We don't have any dinosaurs, though some are available in studio. Just the idea of bringing dinosaurs in scares me so much. But we have other works by the artist that are as impressive. And we're getting to the bottom here. This is Vivian Wang's Korean Tiger. We have some wonderful sculptures by Vivian, with long-time relationship with her, and just overall impressed with her career and what she's been doing. And we've sold very well in the past and in the future. She and I have got some recent works into our show in Florida, and she has new work coming in for international, I believe. And every piece has a story of what they're wearing and why, where they're from, whether it's China or Japan, and usually a history of a small little speck in time of where this child lived, or warrior lived, or person lived, and why, and what their life was like. And the incorporation of the tiger is just something fun also that adds to the whole presentation. So I think that wraps up my little presentation today for Glass Day. Hope we celebrate in the future. Maybe we do some more stuff. There's Bada, good to see you. Thanks for being here. She's going to be in Glass 52 as well. I hope you're able to join us for Glass 52. Hope we're able to celebrate Glass Day every year. And if you have any ideas for this particular day, or events or shows or exhibitions, I hope we can get some kind of traction going, because I really think that why not celebrate the very first time Harvey Littleon put a class together. But that's it. You're welcome to unmute, make a comment about it, share your ideas, share anything you want. It'd be great to have any kind of dialogue with everybody here today. I appreciate you all joining me, especially Jen, all the way from Germany. Thanks for coming and being here. It's fantastic. You too, Carrie. There's Eve and Malcolm. Good to see you guys. But
Aaron,
thanks. Hey, what's up?
thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. This is very informative and really pretty. We're looking forward to coming. We haven't been since beginning of COVID, so we're excited. We're planned a whole 3-week trip around this. So
Great.
We're leaving our wallets at home, though.
Yeah, let's not do that. Just bring our credit cards and come on in. We'll send you a bill. Don't worry about it. Happy to have you guys, that's for sure. And where else are you going? You're coming to town.
We're going across to Ann Arbor to see my brother for a week after we leave you. And then we're going to DC to see our son. Then we're going to my 50th reunion from business school. and then I get to play Pine Valley before we come home. So
Oh, that's fun.
it's going to be a nice trip.